Welcome, my friends, to Conspiracy or Conspiracy. I think we're well overdue for a conspiracy or conspiracy, don't you? So, Conspiracy or Conspiracy is a show where we talk about, all things conspiracy related, whether that be deep politics or whether that is aliens, the Illuminati, hidden history, or things that go bump in the night. And so, joining me is my good friend, Drew Taylor, aka Supreme Heretic. Welcome, my friend.
Hail, Wes. Hail. Good to see you. Let's see. Is Drew's peen large enough to destroy a small city? Conspiracy or conspiracy?
Well, apparently it's big enough to destroy, to put a dent in the moon. That's the rumor going around here.
Yeah, the parrot says hashtag beware the Drew. Great to see everyone. Dude, I still, even if I'm going to be on with John B. Wells, which, by the way, folks, you can catch that on Wednesday. Breaking news. I will be on Caravan to Midnight with the great legendary broadcaster John B. Wells. It'll be 9:30 to 11 p.m. Central Time. But I will be on that show indeed. But my favorite show to be on and my favorite show to always be a guest on is with Wes Moody of the Wes Moody Webcast, because he's near and dear to my heart. He is family to me, and I will take a bullet for this man. I will.
Wow, thank you. Yes, likewise. We are family. We are brothers, and we have this amazing fellowship that we have going on. And of course, our good friends in the chat, the best chat on YouTube. You are friends and family as well.
Yeah, hail! Just another red shirt. Good to see you, buddy. And of course, the aforementioned Parrot Head. Great to see you, bud. So,
Parrot Head has a question for you. I think this is a conspiracy or conspiracy question.
Yeah, who's bigger, Jolly or Drew? Wow, that's a conspiracy or conspiracy. Much love to Jolly. Snow Dub's been holding it down. I appreciate what he did the other day for Thomas Gilkey. That was really nice, and I think we all kind of reached out to Thomas, so that was good.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because in Jarbo. By the way, guys, Jarbo and Vito Gasoldi to another degree, they were out in force doing their nonsense on Twitter. They were bashing the guys doing the FNT stream, that we will talk about with the aforementioned Alex Jones. But and they were out on Twitter being jerks as usual, and I've gone tooth and nail personally before on Twitter with Vito. I would love to actually debate that fucker. Because I would call Vito out in a heartbeat for a debate, but I know he wouldn't do it. There's a guy named Vito Gasoldi. He has been, he's got a fairly large YouTube channel. I would say about 100,000+ subs. He is one of those people, very much like Jarbo, talks crap about other content creators. He constantly goes after bounding into comics. Whenever he posts articles, he likes to quote tweet our articles and try to run John Trent and the rest of everybody into the ground. And he's just a clout chaser. He is a professional clout chaser, same as Jarbo. Jarbo, I think, is a little more because he takes it to another level with, and we all know his very publicized past of false flagging and everything else. Jarbo and Susie Liu are probably the biggest scourge of YouTube as far as false flaggers go. So, Jarbo trying to punch down on people we know in the community is just absolutely, stupid. And in this case, he's trying to punch up because, I think all of it is born out of jealousy. He doesn't like the fact that people are succeeding and not paying attention to him. And Vito, much the same. So that's what it is with those guys. So yeah.
Yeah, they sound like losers. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, Jarbo. I honestly, I thought that Jarbo was kind of set up on the false flagging, and he'd been bullied a little bit by those guys, and so I had a little bit of sympathy for him, but how he's handled things afterwards, I pretty much lost all respect
Oh
for him.
yeah,
And
and
I used to actually like his channel.
seeing what he posted about Thomas, I was just
Yeah.
like,
Oh,
yeah,
guy's a piece of
it's
shit.
not cool. Yeah, exactly. And hail to Wookiee supremacy. It's great to see you, buddy. Hail to Tina
Yeah.
Bojan, one of the sweetest people in this in our entire sphere, and just the immense support that she gives to people, and just how wonderful and welcoming Tina is, and she's just unconditional love from Tina all the time, and
Hey, Tina.
absolutely wonderful lady. And
Absolutely.
I can't say too much about Redshirt. He's just a great guy, and I'm proud to call him a friend.
For sure. Hail Zax. Hail Wookiee
Yeah,
supremacy.
hail Sax. Great to see you, my boy.
Wookiee supremacy says our politicians are fucking children. I mean, they're immature. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
immature.
yeah,
Yeah, well, they don't go. The powers that be don't go after smart people that are mature. Wookiee, that would not be something that would serve their interests.
yeah.
You're not
Hail,
missing.
hail
You're not
Gomer
missing anything,
Kyle.
Zax.
Hail Gomer Kyle 79. Great to see you.
Hail Gomer Kyle. Hail Chili Peen. Crap, I said no by accident. 9/11. Yes, inside job. Yeah.
you know, man, now that technically 12:31 a.m. here on the East Coast, it is now 9/11/2021, and you know, I just want to say, God bless all the people that passed away and died tragically that day. It's a memory that we should not forget, and what should make you angry, even angrier, I think, than you already are, if you're paying attention to what's going on in the world, is the fact that some of the very people involved in this, and I'm directly referencing the Taliban, Al Qaeda, people that we just very much helped, and that this administration is holding in high esteem, and very proud that they helped. These are people that helped perpetrate one of the worst tragedies in American history. And it's just a shame that on what should be a day of solemn remembrance, that we're at where we're at, and we've got people like Anthony Blinken holding these people up, saying that they're very professional. Not a good look. And this is why, my fellow Americans, we need to remember solemnly what happened on that day. Remember where you were. Remember the circumstances around you. Remember the conversations you had. I will never forget. I'll never forget 9/11. I will never forget being there. And trust me, I was at home that day because my ex-fiance was at work. I was watching the kids, and I had to explain to a then 8-year-old and a 3-year-old the images that they were seeing on the television. It was haunting.
Yeah, the people falling out of leaping to their deaths was probably the thing that really was like, oh man, that is awful. I mean, because being faced with that decision, either burning to death slowly or just taking a leap of faith and hoping that there's something that's going to catch you down there, I can't even imagine having to make that decision. And the graphic nature of what happens when you do leap from that height, it's just, I could see how that would, and poor, there were some school children that had a window that were watching that stuff.
Well, just the trying to explain again to to an 8-year-old and a 3-year-old at the time, kids that, when I was with my ex-fiance, I very much considered them like my stepchildren. And, the older one, Brittany, she looked at me and she said, 'cause she had called me Dad. She said, Dad, she said, are those people dead? And I had to explain to her, yeah, these people just really died, and trying to explain that the carnage and everything that they saw on the television, it was just absolutely gut-wrenching to me because I had to find the words. And it was hard for me to even process that this was happening on American soil, no less. And I'll never forget that. That's indelibly burned in my memory, aside of the actual footage that we were watching of what happened.
Yep. So Dot Connector says, I was driving around New York State for my job. Soldiers were standing on I-90 toll booths on 9/9. They knew. And there's a lot of evidence that they did know.
Yeah.
I mean, you had them running a drill exactly what was going to happen the day of 9/11. They knew it was going on. They knew every single one of the hijackers. This is exactly, what you're saying earlier, Dot Connector, Al-Qaeda. That's what it is. I mean, we didn't go into Saudi Arabia, did we?
Yeah. Yeah, and whether you want to believe it was the planes or you believe personally that it was, connected and an inside job, which there is evidence to support, it was still a tragedy.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just, again, it's just indelibly burned into my memory. And as I said, I just want to remember in honor of the people that passed away. And, to think that, again, all these years later, 20 years later, this administration is celebrating these people.
Dot Connector says, architects and engineers for 9/11 truth. Yes.
Yeah.
Tina says, my oldest was almost 2 and I was 7 months pregnant. We lived near a small airport. I'll never forget the days after without planes in the sky. Yeah, it was a long time. I had an uncle that was visiting from France, and he was supposed to actually, I believe, leave a couple of days after 9/11, and he was stranded here for, I think, what was that, like 6 weeks? How long? It was a really long time that they grounded the flights, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was here for a long time. I don't know if he's still alive or not. He'd have to be like in his 90s by now.
And Gomer Kyle, you're exactly right. It is all part of the globalist agenda. Obama gave more weaponry to them. Bush has always been a friend of them. Yeah, he was. Because remember, folks, what was the Bush family tied up in? Oil money.
Mm-hmm.
Oil money.
Wookie says, it's insulting for someone to say they dropped because of those planes. Well, Culture Casino actually has a different take on that, and hopefully he'll be available tomorrow because I would love to have him on the 9/11 show. He was supposed to be on last year but couldn't make it.
But yeah, I don't mean to derail from the beginning, but I just wanted to make sure that, we did put it in proper perspective and just have a few moments of remembrance for these people, because they are fellow Americans that passed away. And they were every bit our brothers and sisters. And hail to you, Bruce Lombardo. Great to see you.
Yeah, hail. So Chili Peen says, your romantic French uncle was maybe cool staying with the lady he met here at the time. Well, he's supposed to have kind of a reputation as being a ladies' man, but he's not originally from France. He, from what I understand, from the family lore, I guess he either got drunk and ran somebody over, and it was one of those cases of join the military or go to jail, and he joined the military and somehow ended up meeting some French lady, and they ended up, he's from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. That's where my grandma and her family are from. Yeah, he man, that dude drank Chianti like nobody's business, and He just loves spaghetti. You would think someone from France would have a little bit more of a cosmopolitan palate, but apparently not. Like really bad, cheap, like Prego and fucking, the Parmesan cheese in the can. It's interesting. Toxic Man Flu says, I was in New York on 9/11. Inside job or not, the tragedy on those who suffered is the same. I have been to the memorial once in 20 years. It was surreal. Now New York City is a shithole thanks to liberal fucks. Yeah, pretty much. Chili Bean says, Santa Cruz here for the record. Yeah, I was at, I was at some really shitty temp job that I had. And it was on the Aerojet site, located near Folsom, California. And, boy, you want to get into another conspiracy, the loud booms and the secret tunnels, allegedly. A lot of that stuff was happening on the Aerojet site. But, yeah, so it was a former kind of military private contractor base that this temp job, it was horrible, man. It was like supplemental insurance for VA people and retired people, and we were in charge of basically turning down their claims. I fucking hated that job, and I didn't last after that. I didn't want to go back, but we were in reinforced 6-foot concrete walls, and 9/11 hits, and we're just like refreshing the computer, and it's like, you can see the tower smoking. Refresh, one tower down. Refresh, both towers down, and they sent us home. And it was a beautiful fall day, too. I mean, it really was. The leaves were starting to change. And it was really cool. It was beautiful. The skies were very blue. And I drove through, by the Capitol in Sacramento and just took the long way home to try and take it all in. And the first thing I thought was, I don't think I want to be sent home if we're under attack. I would rather be in a reinforced concrete bunker. But then I went home and I watched it all unfold on TV for the next several days, and yeah, man, I just fell into a deep depression for a long time after 9/11. I mean,
yeah. Hail another monster. Good to see you.
Hail another monster.
Chili Bean, funny that you mentioned the chemtrails, because boy, speaking of John B. Wells, who again I'll be going on his program Caravan to Midnight on Wednesday. The thing with that John B. Wells has pointed out on many of his shows, and he's been on top of the whole chemtrail thing, is just really, when you get down to it, if you knew the scope and the type of chemicals that they're putting in the atmosphere, it's absolutely ridiculous.
Yep. Let's see here. Well,
yeah, like I am plugging the heck out of that, because look, it's an incredible opportunity, folks. Here, I sit before you, just a medium-sized channel, 665 subscribers, whatever, or no, excuse me, 660 subscribers, and I would have never dreamed I would have had the opportunity to go on, such a respected broadcaster. The guy's a legend. John B. Wells is a legend. And as far as looking for truth, man, he is one of the, again, like me and Wes are the unsung heroes of looking for truth on here. When you go and watch our stuff, man, John B. Wells is like that on the radio side. And his program, Caravan to Midnight, I mean, he's got top-notch guests all the time. He just had Lieutenant Colonel Anthony Schaefer on last week. I've interviewed Lieutenant Colonel Schaefer before, and I have to follow in Lieutenant Colonel Schaefer's footsteps. I mean, it's a heck of a something to live up to. But, I'm going to do my best, and I am looking forward to going on there, because as much of a boon as it was to see it happen for the community, for for Alex Jones to come on one of the shows of just people that we're all mutuals with. That's awesome. But, that's a huge step forward. And I'm hoping that my appearance going on John B. Wells is yet another step forward for maybe a shift now in getting the truth out, because we all need to work together. It's like turning the volume knob up. We're turning the volume up on truth. And it doesn't matter the size of your channel, big channels, medium channels, small channels. Turn that volume up to 11, crank it up, and tell the truth. Get it out there.
Well, we kind of have to. So what we're fighting here is a giant megaphone, and we need our chorus to drown out the megaphone. And that's why we have this fellowship, and we know each other, and have this network that we're starting. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. And that build up your networks, build up your skill sets, get ready for the fit to hit the shan. And I don't think it's any accident that we've all kind of been brought together. I think that we've been brought together for a reason. I mean, there's just such a good vibe with you and me and our fellow YouTubers and our friends in the chat. It's a very good vibe. It's a very positive vibe, and you can tell that you're just surrounded by good people. And a lot of times I'll be asked, well, how do you network? And the answer is, well, we're doing it right now. We're all doing it. You in the chat are networking with each other and with us, and events like the Nerdroticon down in Vegas and other meetups. That's a good networking opportunity. I mean, that's how they landed Jones on the show.
Yeah.
Robert Barnes was there. And Jeremy struck up a conversation, and that's how it happened.
Yeah. Should always network.
Absolutely. Support. If you can't start a channel or you can't make your voice heard for, job reasons or other reasons, support those that do. Or, just your being here is enough support. So let's see. Bear Nerd Fun. Yes, I do. I have them. I'm going to unlist the one on the main channel, and then I'm going to leave the conspiracy one up. And I have that in the playlist on the front page of the main channel.
Toxic Man Flues, the Velvet Sledgehammer. Oh God, I'm so used to seeing these as super chats. We all know how huge you are, Drew. Whenever you get a boner, they call the resulting eclipse a Drew moon. And yeah, Tox, you are. We have a good friendship, you and I, and I love you to death, buddy, and I appreciate you so much.
Yep.
Even though you turned me into a living meme.
Well, it's a good thing. That makes it memorable. Well, yeah, I don't have super chats yet, but doesn't matter.
Gomer Kyle says they are scared of any channel that spits the real truth, no matter the number of subs.
Well, obviously, because they censor us and strike my channel with, reckless abandon here. It seems like I'm getting struck every 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah. Chili Peen asks,
but I've eaten most of them.
Do you hang with Gay Frog Chat? They are cool and are gun friends.
I haven't heard of them, Chili Peen, so I've not. I've never been the real gun nut in the family. That's always been my older brother. And, I actually probably will be picking up a firearm. I mean, the only thing I had was a black powder rifle before this. I probably will be picking up a firearm. I'm gonna consult with somebody that's an expert, not my brother, because I can't really stand my brother. So I'm gonna talk to somebody else and get some advice and take some training and become proficient using a firearm. And I was always afraid to have a firearm because I had such a bad temper. I just don't want something around that I'm going to use, that I have the temptation to use. But I think we're getting into a time and a place where it probably is a good idea to have a firearm.
Don't go Charles Bronson. That's all.
No, I don't think you have to worry about that. Well, I
Just,
almost went
yeah.
Charles Bronson because in my work, I had to go up in the hills, and you know that part where he trips over the handlebars of the motorcycle.
Yeah,
It was like
yeah.
this is a graveyard. Well, I was like for my work, I was driving through like 45, like 30 minutes off this beaten fucking path, and I get there, and it was just like that, and I was like, oh shit, I'm gonna be dead. And like they're stripping cars and dumping like the carcasses of cars down this canyon. It was weird, man. I was like, fuck this. I'm getting out of here. That was scary. But yeah, I think that's the only way I could turn into Charles Bronson, events like that. So nope,
Yeah,
don't really know them.
man, Bear, you're right. Gun ranges have been booming.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Well, gun sales have been booming and ammo sales have been booming. So, yeah.
Hail Parrot Head, by the way, great to see you, buddy. Um, you know,
Hail.
yeah, Parrot Head's right. The Loki shared the hashtag. And Tox ran with it, but no, Parrot Head, you guys in the Pegasus actual chats, actually, I think it originally was born in the chats of the Pegasus Actual. So, shout out to the Thursday show. Parrot Head and Tox just kicking it on the Battlestar streams. It went from boxy theories to Drew theories.
Yep. So yeah, I probably will be getting a firearm pretty soon. All right. So yeah, Jones on Friday Night Tights was everything I hoped it would be.
I thought so. I mean, I thought it was good. I think actually, if you want to break it down, because there was so much chaos, and that's the only problem with having such a big panel, is people are bound to talk over one another, and it tends to be like trying to herd cats, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think, like, actually, when there was like a pause, just perfect timing. Well, Comics Division asked probably the best question of the night: how do we stop it?
Mm-hmm.
How do we stop the globalist agenda? And it was, and I thought Comics Division asked the best question. So
Yeah, I did. Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, it was a good balance of entertainment and enlightenment. And yeah, Jones was. I think they all agreed that Bribin's move on mandating private employers. I mean, how the fuck does that work? Can't mandate.
well, with up to a $14,000 fine, yeah. I mean, geez, oh man.
Yeah, this is where mass non-compliance comes in because you gotta.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'll have to look into how OSHA works. Is that an administrative process, or do you actually have to go to court for the fine and fight it? Because if you have to go to court, jam that fucking court up, man. Massively non-comply. You give me $14,000 fines, and you try and collect on that shit, and then elect a president that's going to pardon you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I don't think that that's enforceable. I would like to think, and stay with me for a second here, Wes, but I would like to think when this goes before the Supreme Court, inevitably it will, by the way, because this is massively unconstitutional, which our viewers are smart people. You guys all know, and I hope you understand that this whole thing is all unconstitutional. So, a mandate is not an on the books law. It's not a concrete law. So, to me, the fine is inactionable. You can't really collect on that. And I'm sure the Supreme Court will point out the flaws in all this. And if they don't, then I'm really disturbed by that. And listen, there's a chance that the Supreme Court could be compromised. They've made some bizarre decisions just this year.
Yeah. Yeah, Coney Barrett, I think, joined on
Yeah.
one of them.
So you have to, we have to like, we're actually going to be sweating this out a little bit, you guys. I'm just saying.
Well,
Because
Roberts was. It was evident his being compromised when that Obamacare decision came down.
yeah,
He was the deciding vote on it. Obama's own. How does this work? I'm getting mad. I'm getting mad. But yeah, how the fuck does this work? So he asked, the attorneys, the pro-Obamacare attorneys, if the fine was a tax, and they said no. And then he wrote in his decision that it was a tax. That's not how it works. When you're in a court, you can't just like make up an argument that one side made.
right.
It doesn't work that way. Oh, that pisses me off so much. Because
Hail Rita.
as somebody that's self-employed, man, that mandate was bullshit.
Yeah.
The only way I was able to get around that is because I actually am a legal member of an Indian tribe, so I didn't have to.
Rita.
Hey, Rita.
Wes, I want to say Rita is an amazing lady. I actually had the wonderful opportunity to speak with Rita, and she is absolutely as wonderful a woman as you would think, and she is, again, just like Tina Bojan, Rita is a wonderful lady, so supportive of so many people, and she's just very loving, caring, and unselfish. And Rita, it's an honor to know you, my dear. It really is. But like you were saying, Wes, it is absolutely ridiculous, and I'm concerned about the Supreme Court. I really am, because I feel like anymore, like they came to the new justices, all these people that just got in, and said, "All right, you're going to vote this way for the rest of your career, or you're not going to see your kids again, or you're not going to see your husband or wife again."
Oh, that's what's going on. Oh, that they're showing pictures of, little kids walking to elementary school that are their grandkids or kids, and some creep is just stalking them, waiting to do something. It's disgusting. Dot Connector says, to stop the globalists, dismantle the foundation of the control system, the law and banking system, maritime admiralty law, and revert back to common law, where the people had all the authority. Well, we definitely need to end the Fed for sure. That would go leaps and bounds towards getting these people out of there, because, well, this is conspiracy or conspiracy. Let's go down the Fed rabbit hole. It's never been audited. It's a private bank. Mm-hmm. There's a reason why, and the founding, there's a big debate about whether to have a national bank or not, and then, anyway, and Andrew Jackson, to his credit, he broke it up. And the Nicholas Biddle, the guy that was the president of the bank, actually tried to crash the economy in order to prevent that from happening. And unfortunately, there was a backlash, or unfortunately for him, there was a backlash, and Jackson got his way. But the Federal Reserve, the current incarnation of the central bank, has never been audited. And my suspicion is that if you look at those books, they will make absolutely no goddamn sense whatsoever. It'll make Bernie Madoff's books look coherent.
Mm-hmm.
That there's just going to be like, what's this? What's that? What's this? And then, you have they're in control of the money supply. So who knows how much money that's off the books that they just are able to print up or digitally transfer without any accountability, without any knowing, who it's going to, or any of that stuff. My suspicion is that the books are going to be inauditable, because it's just not going to make any sense. But we need to do that. We need to end the Fed.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong. And I think they need to reset the entire tax code and throw out the tax code.
So here's my idea. Here's my idea for first of all, get rid of the income tax, and because that should never have been passed. So here's, just have the federal government operate as it did before, through tariffs and excise taxes, and just instead of income, let's do this. Let's have a 10% tax on debt. So every time you use a credit card, every time you get a car loan, anytime you get a mortgage, 10% of that immediately gets added to your balance, and the 10% gets sent to, state government, federal government, whatever it is. You do that, and that rewards savers. And for people that use a lot of credit cards and use a lot of debt, they're going to be, the money's created out of thin air in the first place. So why not tax that instead of income? And it also takes the burden off of, if you choose not to use debt, then, you're a freer person. But the banks would hate that. The banks would hate that.
Oh, absolutely they would. The same way with abolishing the tax code. And I think they should, because there's so much clutter in the way that they collect taxes. There's too many taxes. They need to just start from scratch. And the way to do that, and I've always agreed kind of with Rand Paul and his father, you have a tax that works for people, which is, you tax the goods and services. Let people have their property. You don't tax them on their damn property. It's theirs. Tax it on goods and services, and like a national sales tax, stuff like that. That's the way to do it.
Yeah, it could be one of the multiple sources that it comes from. But I like the idea of tax and debt. So Gomer Kyle says they were compromised before they even got nominated for SCOTUS. Trump didn't realize. Well, I'm sure as soon as they were on the short list, people were after them.
Mm-hmm.
Wookie says, anyone seen a belt-fed 38? I need one. I've not. Sounds cool.
Yeah, give me some of those. Give me some of those World War II Bofors anti-aircraft guns. I need a couple of those in my yard. One of those nice twin turrets that they used to have on the old World War II ships. I'll be good.
Yeah. Dot Connector says, in the 1830s, the U.S. federal government fully funded itself with tariffs, so no income taxes are necessary. So income taxes are unnecessary. Well, that, and we were debt-free, I think, for the only time in our history under the Jackson administration, were we not?
Yeah.
And, I'm not going to defend I'm not going to... Andrew Jackson did some terrible things, though his treatment of, the five tribes, the five civilized tribes, they call them, the Cherokee, the Chickasaw, the Choctaw. I should know this. And the other two. It was unforgivable. The Trail of Tears, which I guess the Trail of Tears really happened under Martin Van Buren. But still, he put those processes in place. Really shameful period in our history. Yep, debt-free in the 1830s too, yes. So yeah, Alex Jones. So the basic thesis that Alex Jones has put forth, and many others over the years before him and after him, is that so it goes something like this: the powers that be are wealthy elite, Rothschilds, your George Soros types, the power elite, if you will, your Gateses. They want to create a one world government, and they believe that the planet is overpopulated. And so what they want to do is roll in a totalitarian one world government, basically a fascistic state. And they want to reduce the population down to 500 million. So it seems like there's plenty of evidence to support this hypothesis. Where are you at on that, Drew? Did I leave anything out?
I don't think so. I think that hits it pretty well.
Yeah, so, it is. And what I'm trying to do when I talk with people, and, on one of my local groups, the health authority is like, I was like, what about ivermectin and the other alternative treatments to the beer bug? And so they're like, well, why would you do that when there's a vaccine? And I said, well, first off, there's religious and and medical exemptions from it. Second off, what happens if you've already had it and you have a natural immunity? You know, if you have polio and you get polio and recover from polio, you're not getting a polio vaccine. Fuck off.
Right. Yeah.
And consult your doctor, folks, about this stuff. We have to say that.
I don't want my bug polio to get polio.
So, you know, and they actually respond, you know, and so that happened. They didn't respond to that. But then I posted the Innovating to Zero Bill Gates speech. I posted the SPARS pandemic PDF. I posted Event 201. And I was like, why is Bill Gates saying this here? Why is Bill Gates saying that he's really excited about the vaccine when he's talking about reducing carbon? Why is that? Why is does the formula that he puts up there where he says something has to get to zero, why is everything dependent on population? You know, and the SPARS pandemic, which we covered on one of the conspiracies, you know, why, you know, how is it that they were so on the money with what's happening now? They talked about a former vice president becoming president. They talked about, you know, people getting injected with the vaccine and passing out on or having side effects immediately on national television. That happened. And how to deal with the perception that there's something wrong with the jab. They talked about the social media response, getting, you know, the African American community resisting the vaccines and how to outreach to that community. They talked about the Japanese not wanting to take our jab. So, you know, I mean, it seems like that document, the SPARS pandemic document, you know, I mean, were these people psychic or did they know? Because it seems like they knew. And, you know, especially when you throw into the mix the political aspect of it, you know, the person that ultimately became the current executive office holder.
Yep.
So, yeah, I you know, I think there's a lot of, and, you know, the censorship around these issues, you know, it just, yeah, you know, it should even to, and I think that's why you see the vaccine hesitancy. So I'm not even gonna say that, you know, I'm not even gonna, at this point, say that it's not known, because it seems like a lot of folks out there really have a lot of common sense.
Yeah. Well, you can tell when you're getting close to things because they start to censor you. When you're asking the right questions, you certainly know. And, you know, and that's what's happening all around. You know, trust me, folks, they don't like you asking questions. That's why the news is the way it is.
That's why all of them cover the same basic 5 stories and nothing else. I mean, there's a lot more happening in the world. That's why they never give you good news, too. You know? Chili Peen says, humanity must survive Bill Gates or whoever powers him. Yes. Well, I mean, I don't think all of us are going to make it. But, you know, we got to get the message out, and whoever survives obviously has to carry forward. You know, it seems to be shaping up to be a classic battle between good and evil. And, you know, there's you know, they have a very cynical view of humanity, and they're greedy, and they're very much focusing on this existence and this planet and this physical existence that we have here, rather than the bigger picture of you know, spirituality and life and love and the goodness that there is in the universe. And, you know, I really pity them. They're really disgusting people, and they're losers. And I don't care how much money they have, they're losers.
Well, yeah.
They're never going to, just like the basic interaction, you know, going out with friends, going out on a date, that kind of stuff. They can't make that happen. They have to have Jeffrey Epsteins to make that kind of stuff happen. And they have to exploit. They don't know what it's like to have a real human connection. So I pity them. I feel sorry for them, and all of their power and all of their money can't buy it.
Preach, my friend, preach.
Yep. Losers.
They are. Hail to Dwayne Erickson. Great to see you, buddy. Doc Connector, I really like you because, bro, you are just about dropping the facts, man. Dude, I hope that you're subbed to my channel because, like, you need to like sub to me like yesterday because you're just awesome. So
yep, I've got your channel in the pinned comments. Drew's channel is in the pinned comments. Yeah, sub to Drew, man. Why wouldn't you? Drew's awesome.
Yeah,
go,
give me a second, Wes. I'm going to run to the restroom. I'll be right back.
All right. So Gomer Kyle says, and if you and your family die, who's left with the bilks? You can't sue the vaccine companies. Well, you couldn't anyway. You have to go to the vaccine court. But the Pfizer, this is very interesting because Pfizer, I should bring this up right now. Pfizer, so there's a couple of problems here with Pfizer. And one of them is Pfizer. So there's two different. Here we go. Yes, I'll bring this up. Hold on just a second here. Here we go. Hold on just a second. So basically, there's two names for the same drug. Pfizer got FDA approval for one of them. I think one's called BioNTech. So BioNTech is the one that was used under the emergency authorization. And there's another one. The one that got FDA approval is called Comirnaty. And so Pfizer released actually a statement that said, hey, there's an important legal distinction between these two, but make no mistake, it's the same drug. And so what are they doing? It appears what they're doing is they're using the BioNTech one, the emergency auth one that you can't sue over, and the FDA approved one is strangely non-available. Isn't that interesting? That's interesting. So they got FDA approval, but you're not getting the one. They're the identical drug. They're the identical vaccine. They're the identical jab, but they're only releasing the one they have the emergency authorization for, not the one they have FDA approval for. So it's a bait and switch, and I think it's disgusting. And I think they shouldn't be able to still continue to make the one that was under emergency use authorization. So fuck you, Pfizer. Consult a doctor. Chili Peen says, I'm not jabbing ever. I've never been tested either. Yeah, I wouldn't either. That's one of the benefits of being self-employed is that I'm not mandated the way that employers are being mandated now. But I would look into the exemptions. You have religious exemptions and medical exemptions. And I would inquire about the company policy regarding those. And I'd get on that, because that's going to be your legal path to getting out of it. Dot Connector says, I removed my toxins 18 years ago and haven't had a cold, flu, virus, or infection since. Toxins and dietary deficiencies cause illnesses, not viruses or bacteria. Well, I think they do, but I think you have to have a healthy immunity system. Immunity. Yeah. You have to exercise, you have to get sun, and you have to have a good diet.
Well, also, I want to give props, going off of Dot Connector's comment. I want to give props to, our buddy Adega Outlaw, Dr. Adega, because, man, I'll tell you what, he was ahead of the curve. He told me actually before this stuff started, he said, this COVID stuff's coming here. He's like, and I'm going to tell you right now, he's like, there's going to be a lot of stuff that comes out, but all you need, he's like, just listen up to me. I'm going to tell you a list of stuff to pick up for yourself. He's like, and it's going to keep you alive. It's going to keep you healthy. And I was like, all right. And he told me, get some vitamin D3, get vitamin C, and get zinc. I've been on that regimen. I could tell you since COVID's been around, I have not once been sick other for a minor sinus infection, and that was it. And, I have never had a COVID symptom, period. And I give all the credit in the world to, Adega for doing that, and Adega is a great member of this, fellowship, this community, and, he's spot on. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And that's what other people are saying too. Unfortunately, I think I ended up having COVID-19 in 2019. Yeah. I think I talked about it.
I think you probably did. You had it in the early stages of West. I'm firmly convinced of that from what you described about the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
And
it was a nasty bug.
Yeah. I really believe you had it, buddy.
Yep. Well, not only that, but I think I caught it again. But the second time that I caught it, it only lasted like 2 or 3 days, and it was pretty mild. But the combination of symptoms were what I had in 2019. It was just the worst part for me was the headache. And apparently the headache was probably caused by my, it gave me really high blood pressure. I was on the verge of stroking out, and at that time I was doing a ketogenic diet, and I was like, and people were like, "Yeah, you're gonna clog your arteries," and it's like, "Fuck, did I clog my arteries?" And they couldn't find anything wrong with me, and they were acting like I was making it up, like I was a hypochondriac or some shit. And so I was like, what's going on here? And I would get better and then worse, and then I'd start to get better, and then I'd get smacked down, and apparently that's a hallmark of it too. And then just one day I woke up and I was totally okay. But I thought I was dying. I thought I had a brain tumor. Those headaches were so bad.
Yeah, Chili Peen. Unfortunately, that's a vice that I never give up. I'm still a smoker too, and I part of me wants to quit in the worst way, and part of me can't because it is so a stress crutch for me, and with all the stuff that is going on in my personal life at the moment, especially with what's going on with my mom's health and everything. There, much as I want to quit, quitting's not an option for me right now because it's just like, otherwise I will inevitably probably go into a depressive episode. So, it's as bad a habit as it is, it is my stress crutch for the moment. And, I can't go without, even though I know that I should.
Switch to vaping, man. Vaping's way better. I used to smoke pretty heavily for a while too. Well, I mean, about a pack every 2 days. I'd smoke either Reds or Camel Wides. Got to a point where I was having trouble climbing stairs, and I don't get winded with vaping the way I did with smoking. But some people say it's different.
Yeah. Well, eventually I do want to quit because, the one thing that it did was it affected my my singing voice, and I used to be an avid person for going out and enjoying karaoke, and I want to be able to sing well again. So I would like to do that. But
look on the bright side. You can sing like that chick in the death metal band that you showed me.
Yeah, well, and I can also I can do country. I can do country right now. So that hasn't changed, but that's about it.
I'm an ABC guy. Anything but country.
Yeah. I used to be able to do stuff like Disturbed and stuff like that, and I can't hit those notes anymore because smoking just killed my vocals in that sense. But when I eventually get all this shit out of my lungs, I'll be able to do it again. But anyway, getting back to on topic, one of the things that stood out to me on the F&T panel that Alex talked about. And this is one of the things that I've pointed out, not only on your stream, but on my stream for a long time. And I said, once China and the globalists get to the point they're at cross purposes and they start rattling the saber against one another, then you're going to see some shit hit the fan. And lo and behold, what did Alex say? He said, well, Soros is already calling for war against China. So that ought to tell you something, that it may be reaching that point soon. So, I just wanted to point that out. I've been out in front of that for a little bit now.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. So, do you think that we'll defend Taiwan if China moves on Taiwan? Do you think that bribing this current executive office holder, that there would be a defense of Taiwan?
I would say that no, there probably won't, but there is going to be some major push for there to be a defense of Taiwan, because what's the old misnomer? War is good for business. That's the old saying. War is good for business. Mm-hmm. The military-industrial complex, the neocons, the people that want war, they don't want to give up money. War makes them a lot of money.
It's take care of a lot of their population concerns as well.
Yeah, and I wouldn't. It's going to be a battle of that versus. I think Biden and some of his people saying no because they don't want to lose face, but they've already lost so much face over Afghanistan. I think the next big debate, which would be a defensive action helping Taiwan against China, would I think it might win out with the neocons having more of the influence this time around, because they'll say, well, this is needed, blah blah blah, these people are oppressed, blah blah blah, and then they go in on it.
Do you think that China is going to make a move on Taiwan?
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. They're in expansion mode, and they've wanted to do this for a long time. Because don't forget, in the end, China's goal is world domination. They've had a grudge against Western civilization for years because they feel that they've lost face. They feel that, the U.S. is shit on them. They feel like, Britain is shit on them. They feel like a lot of the West has, made a mockery of them. And they hate that. And they've always wanted to get back at the West. They want, to expand territory at the same time. And they want to essentially rule the world. That is the tenet of what their agenda is with China. And I think they're naturally, the first thing they're going to do is make a play for Taiwan, make a play for Hong Kong. Then they're going to branch out. Then they're going to go for, Europe. Then they're going to go for the West. So it's going to happen. It comes down to how much the rest of the world and the globalist masters, how much they're going to let China get away with. So.
Yeah, Farida agrees. Yeah, I know China is going after Taiwan. So Bear says, I've seen a few governors giving press briefings referring to the federal government as the Federalist Union. What? I haven't seen any of that. Boy, I don't know. I haven't watched mainstream media in a while. I'll have to check that out. That doesn't make any goddamn sense.
Very interesting.
Yeah. A lot of people on the carnivore diet, says Dot Connector. Say quitting smoking, drinking, or drugs were easy. Have no cravings on the diet, so I believe it. Yeah, a ketogenic diet, that's a high-fat diet, and that one really levels you out. You don't get the cravings for, like when I was doing the insanity workout, I wasn't really on a diet like that. And dude, I would just wipe out the fridge after one of those workouts. And with a ketogenic diet, you just don't have the hunger. It's, I feel like a goose getting stuffed, getting ready for foie gras. Is that what it is? Just stuff getting shoved down my gullet. But yeah, I do miss chips and salsa. And
yeah. Rita says, I know China is going to go after Taiwan. She agrees with me on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, this Pfizer thing, fudging on which version they're going to give out is just pretty disgusting. And that should tell you. I mean, look, the president of Pfizer said that he hasn't taken it because he wanted to make sure there's enough for everybody. Give me a break, you fucking idiot. Give me a break. Anybody that buys that.
And then what do they got coming down the pike, Wes? And they're like, they're bound to get you one way or the other because they said, what are they going to do? Oh, well, they're also trying to put it in pill form. It's unbelievable money grab. Unbelievable.
Well, yeah, I mean, so they put out this press release that, there's two different names for the same drug. Mm-hmm. One of them was the emergency use authorization, which they can't be sued for. And the other one is the FDA approved one, which they can't, which they can. So which one do you think they're making? The emergency auth one.
Yep.
And they're the same thing. Oh, God. How can people be so dumb?
Yeah. Wiki says we have fellow Americans to deal with long before we have to deal with the Chinese. Yeah. And look.
I'm afraid you're correct. I'm afraid you're right. I mean, you see it right now.
Yeah. And that's brewing because, you got to think about it. When Biden did what he did and put together that absolutely tone deaf speech where he just, essentially said that he was ruling by decree. And he even said, oh, I don't care about the governors, blah, 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 and he's sitting there being defiant, like, go ahead, bring it. He's only stoking the flames of possible civil war, most definitely stoking the flames of revolution. But he's also possibly stirring up civil war because don't forget how they framed this. If you paid attention to his comments, folks, you already know he's framing it as vaccinated versus unvaccinated. That's what they want you to believe. It's what they want you to feel.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I don't think Wook is wrong.
Oh, I agree completely. And then you have the mindless morons, the slacktivists, and the Antifa people.
Oh God, yeah, they're just so in lockstep with the agenda. It's not even funny, man. And those are the people that are going to feel it the worst because when they get abandoned by, their masters, when the lapdogs get abandoned, oh man, they're going to be so screwed. They're just going to be like, oh, I'm fucked. Oh man,
they're pawns. They don't even realize it. They're morons.
All of them are useful idiots. God, so bad.
Rita says Bill Gates doesn't take vaccines and won't let his kids have vaccines either. Yeah, I bet. Parrothead says Drew's so bad he uses Satan as a cock ring. I think you mean big. Beware the Drew. Yeah. Can you give me a timestamp, Bear, on that video? Sorry, I was eating between. I just realized that I've only had one meal today. Ha. Wookiee Supremacy says, Bill Gates rambles on about depopulation every time he hits a stage for the last 2 decades.
Yeah.
He does.
Mm-hmm. He can't stop.
And that's the most disturbing thing about his Innovating to Zero TED Talk, is that when he says, obviously, one of these numbers has to get to zero, you can hear the crowd, basic math, basic algebra here. You can hear the crowd go, yay! Yay! It's just like, what the fuck? Do you idiots even know what he's saying? they must be they must get off on that shit. I don't know.
I mean, there's some people, dude. Listen, Wes, there are some people that absolutely know what a death cult is, and they don't care. They just want to join a death cult. It's like, do you really want to join a fucking death cult? Are you serious? It's like, damn. It escapes me how somebody could be, celebrating joining a death cult, but some people, dude.
Absolutely. So Chili Peen says it's a play by mental manipulation, saying you're with a group to make the controllers seem less and the use seem like they're needed. There's a term for it. I think Stockholm syndrome is what you're going for there, Chili Peen, and I agree.
Yeah,
it is a Stockholm syndrome.
Part of it is that as well. Yeah, I agree.
Chili Peen says Bill Gates is more wealthy than Fauci is, and now Fauci is the bad one. Last month, Billy was bad. Yeah, I think they're both pretty bad. I mean, they're both in bed together, and that's another. I mean, that's another connection, is the Fauci Gates connection. I mean, Fauci's thanked Gates a bunch of times.
Oh yeah,
the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation.
Oh yeah, 100%.
People assimilate and like the needy types, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Oh, okay. Gomer Kyle asks, question, who do you all thought bought and paid it for and put up the Georgia Guidestones? What's your theory on that one, Drew?
Ooh, I watched a documentary recently on there, and I'm still puzzled as to who put them out there, but at the same time, I'm glad they're out there, because I do feel like with the Georgia Guidestones, they kind of serve a twofold purpose, because again, we know that the globalists, these people, part of the insidious thing that is their creed, and I think Alex explained it pretty well on there, is that part of what they do is they do it openly and tell you the plan, because they feel like it gets them extra something. But I also think that it does serve as a warning as much as it is a declaration. And that's what I feel that the Georgia Guidestones are. They're both a warning and a declaration. And, I do feel it was somebody, obviously, that is part of the globalist cabal. But, I mean, I couldn't hazard a guess really as to who. I would bet it has something to do with somebody that is hired by one of the major families. And you guys know who I'm talking about, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers. Probably somebody within the Rockefellers, if I'm just throwing names out there.
I heard a rumor it was Ted Turner, and that makes sense to me.
Yeah, could be, because he's very influential in Georgia.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah, R.C. Christian. That's the name that's put on there.
Mm-hmm.
Put it up. Which I guess people are saying that's kind of a tongue-in-cheek acronym, Rosicrucians. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Yeah. Rosicrucians. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting. But you know, I would love to know.
Me too. Obviously, it was somebody of means. Mikhail Wolf. Hail, Mikhail Wolf. There is only
Hail
one ending to a
Mikhail.
death. There's only one ending to a death cult. Yep.
Exactly. And that's why I laugh at these idiots that are so down for the cause and so down to spew this nonsense, because and you guys are smart. Again, that's what I love about our audience, because you guys understand none of this makes sense. It defies common sense, and just even the stuff about race and the whole 9 yards. You guys know that it's fabricated and just all artificial construct, and these people sit there and spew it daily like it is gospel truth, because to them it is a form of gospel, which again is pretty darn frightening.
Yeah. So Rita says, I heard there are a number of lawsuits on Bill Gates from various countries because of his new polio vaccines. Yes, in India. They were jabbing underage children without the parents' consent. And I believe in some African countries, the Gates Foundation is being sued. Let's see, a different term. Is it brainwashing, Chili Peen?
I call it.
Is it neurolinguistic programming? Is that what you're talking about? Neurolinguistic programming can be used, pretty effectively. You can use that in your daily life. It's like a Jedi mind trick. Just got to use it sparingly. Yes, Rita says, Bill Gates' polio vaccines have caused a significant number of people to become crippled as well as, dead. Yep. Yeah, Rosicrucians. Whoa. Hail, Kitty Bear the High Orc. Welcome, my friend.
Hail,
Kitty Bear. All I wonder about is when will I see a mushroom cloud outside? Yeah, you and me both, buddy. I'm on the West Coast here.
Yeah, I think about that. You guys would see it before me because you're on the West Coast, but yeah, we don't have. I don't think we have any super valuable strategic shit in Cleveland, because I don't think anybody taking over Lake Erie isn't like taking over the Pacific. So.
Dot Connector says, R.C. Christian paid for the guidestones as told by the company that installed them. It was the late Robert Chapman, who lived close at the time, worked for the elite, and always called himself a Christian. Bob Chapman, the late Bob Chapman, who was on the Alex Jones show and said there was a video of Ronald Reagan getting apparatused. that Bob Chapman, that is my favorite episode of Alex Jones, too, by the way. Did you watch that episode?
What year was that from?
God, it had to have been 09 or 10. It was a long time ago. But that was great. He's like, well, I can't say it, Alex. And Alex is like, Bob, you gotta say it. If you don't, they're gonna kill you. What is it? He's like, well, I don't want to talk about it. It's Ronald Reagan was being blackmailed. It's like, damn it, Bob, you gotta out with it right now. What's wrong with what was wrong with Ronald Reagan? He goes, well, there's a video. Well, what's on the video, Bob? He's like, well, there's Ronald Reagan and there's a woman with an apparatus and she's inserting it into Ronald Reagan. And Alex is like, oh, man, well, I went to a totally different place, Bob. Them Hollywood types could be a little weird. That's not weird for Hollywood. I thought you were going to say Ronald Reagan was a communist. Oh God, I can't find it anywhere. It's so hilarious.
Yeah, I have to see if I can't find that. That sounds like a riot, because I've seen a lot of Alex Jones episodes, but yeah.
Chili Bean says, it's a good impersonation.
Yeah.
Thanks. I have a pretty decent Jones. I think I can do. Mao took the guns. Stalin took the guns. In 1776, we'll commence again if you try to take our firearms. Do you understand?
Nice.
Thanks. Whoa, chat is really moving here. Hail LDG of Geeks Enjoy. Apnea strikes again.
Hail LDG.
Oh, man, I hope you're okay. I know a lot of people have the oxygen for that, right?
Well, I do know this, Chili Peen, about Reagan. Reagan was surrounded by globalists, you know. I mean, you know, we know that for a fact. Look at his cabinet.
Yeah, and the fact that he made George Bush his vice president, which was a head scratcher for many because he didn't like George Bush. Oh, here we go. Here's a nice high-resolution photograph here of the Georgia Guidestones. Yeah, Mikhail Wolf says, I had to look up the Georgia Guidestones. That's new to me. Wow, apart from the population limit, number 3 was interesting. Unite humanity with a living new language. This sounds a bit like Newspeak. That is exactly what it is.
Yep.
You are correct.
As Ed McMahon used to say, you're correct, sir.
Congratulations, sir. The price is right. You missed it by that much. Sorry. Yep, there they are. That's actually a pretty nice photograph of them. Kind of looks like a square. Interesting. Bear says I had a dream of a nuke going off. Yeah.
You know, now that I think about it, I really miss Johnny Carson.
Well, yeah, Johnny Carson was great.
I really miss Johnny Carson, man.
Chili Bean says, I bet the Golden Gate in the Bay is a target. I don't know if that would be a high priority target because it's hilly.
No, high value targets to be anywhere, and that's why the Pacific remains a key target. You know, shipping routes along both the Atlantic and the Pacific. You know, things of that nature. Those are going to be, you know, high value. I mean, the biggest battle that you guys are going to see, you know, because we already talked about Taiwan. It's going to be for the South China Sea in general.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's going to be a huge battle.
Yeah, I don't see them just wanting Taiwan because Taiwan's just a tiny little island. I think they would probably glass Taiwan before, you know, during any move in the South China Sea. I think they know they can't take it. I think they would just blow it up. They would blackmail them, and if they didn't cave in, then go for it. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't think anybody would. I don't think they would nuke San Francisco because it's hilly, and there's really no active military bases around San Francisco. Yeah, they would go probably for where I'm at because we have Beale, and Beale has all kinds of like black ops and planes and shit that nobody's ever seen. Like the Flying Triangle is there.
Right.
But that also could mean that we have defenses that are not publicized, so who knows? Chili Bean says, I listened to Alex Jones on the radio. It was before Coast to Coast. Yep. International forecaster Bob Chapman. Not sure if he was on Alex Jones. Well, now I need to find a picture.
Yeah, Wookie, I think a lot of it, if they ever were to directly attack the United States, you know, and Klaus Schwab was talking about this, folks, by the way. You know, he was talking about the cyber attack shit, like, at least, you know, even as long back as last year and probably before. They've been on this kick about cyber attacks. Well, that would be one way that the U.S. will get attacked because we're constantly having them. you know, as you guys know, we've already been having cyber attacks. But the other thing, and this is to speak to Wiki's point, or to Wiki's point, yeah, Wiki. You're Wikipedia, Wiki. The grid. The grid is compromised. So the first thing that's going to happen if there was ever a direct attack on the United States is they're going to hit the grid. The grid's going to go down. And that's a big part of what's going to go on, because you plunge things into a blackout, you plunge things into chaos, and then, you know, you're going to see all kind of shit happen.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, they don't even have to really fire a shot. You could just take the grid down and you'd have natural chaos, because looting would ensue, and you know, and lawlessness and the whole 9 yards. And the remnants of the police department, since they've all been defunded, would, you know, be ill-equipped to handle all this.
Yep, absolutely. Well, I have a theory. Well, I think that our hacking, ability and our ability to defend against it is well beyond anybody else's. We just don't know about it, and I think that the attacks that are being done are really inside jobs.
Well,
that's what I think.
A fair amount of them probably are, Wes. I mean, it's not a leap to think that. Not at all. And with everything we know that's going on, you know, it's pretty plausible.
Absolutely. So Mikhail asks, why does the depopulation need to be at 500 million? This number keeps coming up in the research I've been doing. It would be interesting to know. You want to take a stab at that one, Drew?
What was it again?
Why they want to depopulate to 500 million?
Well, they figure that's their magic number for, sustainability in management. You know, because you can then put people into centralized housing, number one, and centralized camps and communities, and have them dependent. They need it to be that number because, you know, it's a lot easier to take and centralize things. And that's exactly what they want to do. Because, you know, remember, they don't want those type of outlier people that get lost on the outskirts, that are in the rural areas that nobody goes to. They don't want that.
They do not want independent people.
Exactly. So that's why they want to get it down to that, because they can essentially keep a running count on that particular number of people.
Yep. So that's basically their stated objective is that, that there's a surplus population. You're trashing the planet. There's too many of you and you add nothing. So, you're messing up the planet. We don't want to govern you. You're waking up. So we want to do away with you.
I don't even think that they realize that Tox. Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't even think these people, when actually presented with their own beliefs, technically believe this shit. I think they know that climate change is bullshit. I think they know that a lot of this stuff is bullshit. They just want to disappear and kill off a lot of people so that they have the ultimate control. They want to have control of every single resource, precious metal, you name it, every source of monetary gain possible.
Yes. Well, there is also a conspiracy theory that it might be way, way out there, and I have no way to verify it, and I have no evidence to support it, but it goes something like this. We've made contact with extraterrestrials, and they said, "Hey,
yes, I've heard this.
There's two ways that you can join with us, and we'll share our technology, and you can join our fellowship and our federation, if you will. But there's two things you got to do. There used to be galactic wars fought over expansion And so you need to cap your population at 500 million. And number 2, you need to have a one world government because we don't know who to talk to. And you do those 2 things, and you can be invited into this galactic order, this fellowship of planets, and we will share technology with you. And you, the elites, you get to be the people that we invite in. That's the theory.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. You know, I've heard that before, but I don't necessarily, you know, because I like to stay on the grounds of tangibility.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's very intangible.
And
No doubt
I
about
don't,
it.
and I don't think that that's necessarily, you know, it's pretty outlandish. I mean, although I will entertain, you know, the existence of aliens. I, you know, I mean, you guys know I'm on with Final every Sunday on Enter the Unfamiliar. You guys know that because you guys are in that chat. So, you know, I'm not opposed to that stuff. I actually have a healthy belief in it, but I just, you know, something tells me that this is more man-made and not a pact with aliens, much as I would like to. You know, I'll entertain the idea because there is actual quote accounts of Eisenhower meeting with aliens.
Yes.
You know, whether you want to believe that or not, but you know, I just don't. I just tend to roll in the tangible. That's all.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not obviously against the intangible or something that has less than credible evidence because let's face it, I'm a huge believer in Sasquatch and I love talking about Bigfoot and stuff like that. But guess what? When you look at it on the opposite side where, you know, skeptics present the case that say, well, there's not enough tangible evidence. Yeah, I can see that. And I feel the same way about a theory like this. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I definitely think that we've had, I mean, contact with extraterrestrials. Gomer Kyle is referencing the Roswell incident.
Mm-hmm.
But see, the drive to one world government seems to go before that, you know, and the neo-Malthusians, the Malthusians. Because, I mean, if you look at, I think it was Warburg, right, that said we will have one world government either by conquest or consent.
Yeah. And Rita, you're exactly right. Climate change is a hoax. That is a huge grift. That's a money grab, and it's 100% a hoax.
But yeah, Roswell. That's very interesting. But I think we're searching around for that stuff beforehand. There was Aurora, Texas. I think there was one. Yeah. Let's see. I have not heard of Golem in a pressurized chamber. Chili Bean, that sounds fascinating. Yeah, climate change is bullshit. Rita says, climate change is a hoax. The Earth does what it does and is done for billions of years. The talk is just a way to keep the sheep scared and corralled. Yep. Carbon taxes do absolutely nothing to improve the environment. In fact, they give them certain countries, certain entities, a license to pollute. So it doesn't make any goddamn sense, but if you want to unite the world and see if there is, see, this is what makes me think. This is what makes me think that the extraterrestrial argument for the population reduction could be plausible, and that is the fact that there seems to be this drive for equity and the fact that things are being moved to different countries. Different countries are being elevated. Countries like China, with our technology, it's like, why put that system in place? It can't just be about greed. It just can't be. It just, it's almost like, is there an extraterrestrial force saying, well, these people have been oppressed, so you need to give them your technology and share our technology with them. It's all very interesting to think about, and it's highly speculative, but I do wonder. Hail to Helium29. Welcome, my friend. Good to see you. Dot Connector says the sun cycles are the sole factor which changes the climate. I mean, that the sun is something we don't fully understand, and it's gigantic. And if the sun even does the smallest thing, yeah, I mean, I'm surprised that our weather is as consistent as it is, to be honest with you. Yeah, planet does things despite who's on it, so, yeah. Gomer Kyle says, the Earth would purge us if it thinks we are killing it. Nature will not let us destroy it without pushback. Hurricanes, tornadoes, volcanoes, earthquakes, and on and on. Yep. I think you're right. Hail, Tiki of Doom. Welcome, my friend. Get in the pod and eat the bugs, says Tiki of Doom. Yeah. Well, at least some people do eat chocolate-covered bugs, but I don't know. I don't know if I could handle that. Yeah, there's a lot of that, and it could be that well, Jones was saying on FNT, which is something I hadn't really heard him say before, was that supposedly they believe that there's a polar shift that's going to occur, and that the Earth has reached its carrying capacity, and that we won't, it's basically a mercy kill. But I mean, I've heard so many different things on the theory as to why there would be a need to reduce it to that specific number, 500 million.
Yep. Hail, Tiki of Doom. Good to see you, buddy.
Absolutely.
Hail to Helium.
Yeah. Well, we truly do have the best chat on YouTube.
Yeah,
these amazing folks.
Still got people rolling in, man. I love it.
Yeah, this is great. We were way overdue for conspiracy or conspiracy.
Yeah, we were, buddy. We were. But all in all, I thought that the F&T stream was just really good. And I give those guys a lot of credit for being able to get Alex on. And Alex didn't go as over the top as I thought he would. And he stuck to what and that's the Alex Jones that I like, when he sticks to disseminating information and doesn't get too out of control, or kind of descend into like over the top buffoonery.
He got a couple of those, but he stopped pretty quick.
Yeah, he did, and he stuck to disseminating a lot of information, and that's what I like to do. And I guess it's because I'm kind of a stickler as a journalist, folks, because the way that, I structure things when either I appear on a stream or I'm doing a stream is that, I want to take that time to enlighten and disseminate as much information as possible, and also have a thought-provoking discussion on the material. And that is what is important to me, because my ultimate goal is to always inform you before I'm worried about entertaining you. As much as I want to do both, I'm going to inform the hell out of you first. And that's what I always strive to do. So, you guys, I think you guys kind of, from being in the habit of watching me, you kind of get that vibe anyway. But that's what I always am striving to do, and I appreciated the way that Alex did his appearance. I thought it came off well, and it's a great opportunity for those guys, because a number of times Alex mentioned having them on his show, and I thought that was really cool. Because it does, and it's good for everybody. Because, if you think about this, folks, it should, those of you that have fledgling channels, or you don't have a lot of subs,
You think about it. Sure, you can make the argument that content creation is about, it's a who you know thing, it's a networking thing, but really and truly, it gives you hope because you can just be a channel that just doing what you think in your own mind may be small one day, and the next day, you could be interviewing somebody, have a guest on that level, and that is very important, and props to them. I have nothing but good things to say about those folks, and all you got to say is tip of the hat. That's the way I look at it. But I can promise you, as far as Wes and I go, we may not get those kind of guests. We may not, have that kind of reach yet, but we're going to get there because you're always going to get 110% of our grind, our hard work, and the research, because we put in research. And I promise you that when we do streams or when Wes has a topic he really wants to get into, that man is doing research. I'm doing research. And we're always going to do that before we bring you stuff, because we're not going to come on here ill-informed or misinformed, because that's just not the way that we roll. But you'll always get authenticity from us.
Yeah, well, I'll stream brain every once in a while and get something wrong, but I'll apologize for it.
Yeah, but we go out of our way to make retractions or corrections if we do get something, in error. So.
And Gomer Kyle says, the Coeur d'Alene had to go eat. I'd starve if Alex was in the same room. Yeah, I'm kind of starving right now. I've got some almonds here.
Yeah,
I would have a snack nearby.
Alex is a corn-fed boy, man. He don't miss the meals. God,
I really could use a steak right now.
Oh, brother. Good God. I think back to the days I count on my on my fingers, on my toes, leave marks on the wall. God, it's been forever since I had a steak. God, I would do anything to have a steak, but it's it's just one of those things. It's just not in the budget.
We need to get you a steak dinner, Drew.
Yeah.
I think you deserve it.
The closest I've come
to
that.
Hopefully when we're all together,
Yeah, the closest I've got to that is a couple of times I've gotten those prime rib burger patties that they have at Walmart. And that was the closest thing I had to a steak. Because I don't count the stuff that you buy at fast food places, guys. The stuff like a steak quesadilla from Taco Bell or something like that. That's not really steak. That's not really steak. Give me something from Longhorn, an actual New York strip.
Yep, I like a good tri-tip, but boy, I tell you, don't get meat at Winco. I don't know where they get that shit, but not very good. I got some hamburger meat, and dude, it's like 25% gristle. It's disgusting. Nothing makes you lose your appetite more than biting into a bunch of gristle. Like, what else is in here? Gross.
Yeah, so, Dwayne, I like a good baked potato, buddy.
I can't do carbs right now. I got to use cauliflower. You can make a reasonable facsimile with cauliflower. We are only a small part of the universe, and we have no idea how big it is out there. We don't. And Helam says, boy, the chat really does jump. Still need to do my first live stream for the Joker's Wild website. I have. So I sent, invite sent out to both of you to share on that. Yeah, absolutely, buddy. We'll help and support you in any way we can.
Yeah, absolutely, Helam. You got it, buddy. And speaking of that, folks, I'm gonna put together. I'll have to put together a good promotional tweet for my appearance on Caravan to Midnight with John, but yeah, I would just ask that everybody, in our circle, if we can all like really promote the heck out of that appearance, because that's gonna be a huge help. So I'd appreciate it if we could all do that once I get a tweet out there. So just keep an eye on my Twitter for that.
Absolutely. Wow, this is very cool, Tehillim. So there's the site. It is linked in the chat. Give it a visit.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
It's a good, pretty good looking site there, Tehillim. Nice. Nice job, my friend.
So Bruce Lombardo says, I recommend you check out some Chuck Eye steaks from your local grocery store. They're going to have 2 steaks for about $8 or $9. They're perfect for breakfast steaks once you hit it big. I think we can get Drew's steak before then. It's 8 a.m. here and I'm eating burgers. Nice. Yeah, I'll crack an egg over it and have I guess the fancy name, poor man's tartar or whatever. But Rita was saying conspiracy theory is more and more realistic nowadays. Yeah, big time.
Well, it is because it's become fact. It's not theory anymore.
Yeah, we're through the looking glass, folks. It's we're there. And they seem to, the globalists seem to be very confident because they're not exactly doing as much. They're not putting forth the effort that they used to cover it up.
Mm-hmm.
It's like,
well, the cover-up's out the window at this point. They can't put the genie back in the bottle. It's out. The question is whether you want to trust what your own 2 eyes tell you. What your instincts tell you. Turn the volume up on the truth. As I said before, those of you that have ability and access to the platform that can do something, start a channel, make a video, whatever you need to do, but turn the volume up on the truth, because as many people as we can get into the resistance and into the information war, into this fight, the more chance that we have of winning. And that is paramount right now. And unironically, I made a tweet a few days ago, and I wasn't kidding. And those of you that know me know I wasn't kidding when I said, if you haven't joined or formed a resistance cell in your local area, now is the time. Because I'm not kidding.
Yeah, networking is a very good thing to be doing right now. Network every way you can. And that's what we're doing right now. That's what we're doing here with you. We're networking. And that's part of what the censorship is about. I think at this point, it's not so much about, they're trying to minimize, while they're sprinting for the finish line, the globalists, at this point, they're just trying to minimize the damage. They're trying to keep as many people from waking up as they can, but the people that have woken up, they're trying to break your will, and they're also trying to prevent you from seeing how many others of you there are. It's a classic disrupting of command and control. And that's one of that's one of our strengths, is that, the globalists, they're an orchestra. But we're a jazz band. And a jazz band has a lot of room for solos and improv. And Gary has said it many times regarding the Fandom Menace, it's a leaderless movement. And certainly we have some people that are more prominent than others, but for the most part, we all know the tune by heart. We don't need to look at sheet music the way the orchestra does. And that's our strength and one of the ways that we're going to beat them.
I actually think, though, we've gotten past the whole Fandom Menace thing. We're almost like now, I think we're just the Fandom Fellowship, period. We're the Fellowship, straight up. Because it's evolving past fandom. Now we're just concerned citizens.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can tell by the way some of the larger YouTubers have taken their channels. And, dude, huge respect for that, because, they've got something to lose. If I lose this channel, I'll be very sad. It'll suck to have to rebuild it. but I mean, it's not going to financially impact me. Now, if some of the larger channels lost their channels, they're fucked. I mean, well, some of them have businesses on the side, but you know what I mean. It's a large chunk of their income, so that's really putting it on the line. And I just have a great deal of respect for, for the larger YouTubers that are taking that chance. And I think part of it is that in the fellowship we great minds do think alike. It's not a hive mind. It's not a bubble. It's just like, this doesn't make any sense, and we're asking the questions and we're interacting and I remember for a time, Gary was like, "Hey, I don't talk about politics on my channel," and it's
Right.
true, he doesn't. But I mean, he's really getting into the nitty gritty of what he's focusing on a toe of the elephant.
Yeah,
But he acknowledges and knows what the elephant is. It's the agenda.
I mean, even if this was a one-off for those guys, because I know that they mainly, most of the F&T guys, aside of comics, most of the F&T people stick to, entertainment and everything. For me, dude, this was a watershed moment because, again, you're not looking at the ripple in the pond. You're looking at the pond. And that is what I have so been on when I talk to people. I'm like, don't look at the ripple in the pond, which is, entertainment's a residual of what's going on and all the indoctrination and all the programming across, the different entertainment industries, sure. But look at the pond. Look at what's going on in the world, the actual world events that's sparking this. Ask the question, who is behind it? What is the end goal? And, even if it was for one night, our buddies were doing that. And that's what is so important.
Absolutely. Yeah, the ripples in the pond versus the actual where the rock hit in it. Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I just it's interesting. And a lot of people are waking up, and that's a very good thing. And it's revealing a lot. I guess for me, that's I knew about Epstein years ago. I mean, 2008, 2009. I think I knew about Epstein. And a lot of us that are informed, that have been tuning into alternative media sources. So it's kind of interesting to see people starting to wake up now. And it's like, it really had to get to this point for you to wake up. I mean, 9/11 wasn't a wake up call. The JFK assassination wasn't a wake up call. The WMD lies in Iraq, that wasn't a wake up call. Obama and some of the stuff he did as president versus what he ran on, I mean, that wasn't a wake-up call. You have to get to the point where, I mean, the evidence is so overwhelming here. I just can't help but think of like the jury on the O.J. Simpson case when I think about people that haven't woken up. I'm like, really? There's DNA, there's like a bloody glove at both crime scenes. There's blood in his car. You have a witness that saw him near the scene. He has a cut on his finger. Like, how much do you need? And that's the power of cognitive dissonance, both with them and with the folks that haven't woken up or are just waking up.
Absolutely. Well said, my friend.
Thank you. Every once in a while I have a moment. Bruce says I'm happy you're on Discord. I'm too much of a boomer to use it.
Hail, Lady Mist.
Hello,
Our
Lady
dear,
Mist.
dear friend.
Good to see you, and thank you for the roses.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was 1993.
2001.
Well, it was 2001 was when they collapsed, but there was another one in 1993.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. 93, Bear said.
Yeah. So, yeah, this is, I mean... Hold on, I'm catching up on the chat here. Gomer Kyle says, God bless comics. He looked like a kid at Christmas talking to Alex. I'm happy for him. Yeah, me too.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about it on Thursday Night Throwdown and before then. And
Yeah.
after a Thursday night throwdown, he was like, "Wow, I'm super nervous. This is gonna be great. I can't believe it." Yeah, he seemed very excited even before then. I'm glad for him, man. I'm happy for him. That was great.
Yeah, hail, Mazza, what's up?
Hail. Yep. CIA uses people on YouTube to hurt others. Yeah, they do. They use people everywhere. They've got people everywhere. It's a shadow government.
Yeah,
And well, I mean, there's a good reason why you wouldn't. I mean, why wouldn't people wake up with the CIA? It's clearly unconstitutional what they're doing, and it's also against their charter. Their charter. They're supposed to be a very small group of people that disseminated the intelligence from like the naval intelligence, the Office of Naval Intelligence, and Army intelligence, and that's what they were supposed to be coalescing it through. They weren't supposed to be doing operations or coups or any of that shit. That's all extra constitutional stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a lot of people say CIA stands for criminals in action.
Yeah. Yeah, and don't forget, guys, there is a lot of people like, okay, look at the Twitter trolls, and I've encountered her once or twice. I've gone back and forth with Brent from this, people like that. Those are the types of people that are paid, They are paid by activist groups just to troll Twitter all day and troll social media, period.
Yep, absolutely.
Troll Twitter, troll Instagram. They're there to be the people to pile on and to, bring their minions to like cancel people or bully people or whatever, and that's the thing. So you got to remember that some of these people are bad actors. That's exactly what they are. And frankly, it sucks because these are the types, and you can always tell. A lot of them are the ones that go and constantly try to beat the dead horse that is Gamergate or stuff like that. They try to go back to stuff that's happened like ages ago, but they want to keep it relevant because it supports the narrative.
Yeah, I mean, it is, that's why, I mean, you can even see it in the way that the algorithm favors certain content and on Twitter and here. I mean, there's clearly an agenda. They're using them to try and silence and neutralize opposition to what they're doing, whether it's cultural or the stuff we're talking about. I mean, it's a predictable playbook. And a lot of people say, well, that's why would they do that? And the money can't be that good. And Remfamous, by all accounts, doesn't appear to be making very much money. I've heard that she lives in a really shitty area, is what people that know have told me. And think back. I'm self-employed, so I haven't been in normiedom for a long time. But think about when you've had a job. Like I had a job once, right? Where I was it was like temp to hire, right? And they only had a few slots available, and there was like 30 or 40 of us.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, for sure, I thought I was going to nail it because my numbers were very good. And there were these 3 girls, and 3 girls got hired. And several of us overheard one of them saying, "And all it took was a blow job." She had blown one of the managers. And she said, "I want to get on, and me and my friends," and that's who got hired. And so people will do crazy things for just a small raise or whatever. And so if people are doing things like that on a small scale, imagine what happens when somebody rolls up with like 50 grand, 500 grand, or Hunter Biden, millions and millions of dollars. People are, then that's why they like the dummies. The dummies are a cheap date. And, I've had other jobs where people do stupid, shady, backstabby shit to just get like a very small raise, like 50 cents an hour or whatever. Like, fuck off. It's not worth it. But they do. People do that.
No, there's like I said, there is like a ton of And you guys could see this just every so often. Okay, and this is how you spot this kind of stuff. Go on something like Craigslist, for example. Okay, you can see like in jobs area, whatever, where there's ads in there that say we'll pay you to be on social media, blah blah blah. And some of those are activist organizations.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's not difficult to find out who the paid trolls are either, because it's obvious. If you do some digging, sometimes you can find some stuff on LinkedIn, but a lot of times, a lot of times you'll look at their LinkedIn and it's like they worked for a nonprofit, or they worked for some politician.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the telltale sign. It's obvious. I mean, I think Renfamous has some of that in her background too. Oh, or a consulting firm, a consultant.
Yeah, that's another one.
Yep. If you've worked as an online consultant of some type, then that's a telltale sign that you're a paid troll. It's pretty easy to see. And I have a feeling that that's a lot of the reason why they block when you start to try and engage in conversation.
Sure. They don't want to be found out.
Yep.
That's a given.
Absolutely. Well, this is now I'm lost in thought. Think of something, Drew.
Well, it's just if you think about the scope of all these different ops that are going on, all these clandestine operations that are run against the American people, like that are either ongoing or just on a daily basis. It's just mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. Crazy stuff, man.
Yep. Dwayne says, I've met Dennis Weaver personally. Nice guy, Ruby Ridge. He was framed from January. Oh, he was totally framed. Totally framed. Yeah, they set him up. He kept saying no. And they finally gave him a ridiculous number to pay him off. That would have been like ridiculous. Like nobody would have paid that much for those guns. And he took it because he wanted to take care of his family. He was like, okay, yeah, whatever. And he was they were trying for months to set that guy up. Years, I think it might have been years too.
Yeah, not surprised.
Yep. Yeah, they did. They killed his. I'm getting mad when I think about that. I get mad. I'm getting upset.
Yeah. Well, I know for me, it's going on 2:30 a.m. here soon. And,
all right. Well, it just so happens we're running out of steam at the same time. So this.
I'm going to gracefully bow out, sir. So,
well, let's wrap the show. Let's do a proper outro then. Go ahead and take it away, my friend.
Well, again, folks, I'm sure that you know me, and if you don't, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. It's youtube.com/Supreme Heretic. You can find me on Twitter @Supreme Heretic. I'm always on Tuesdays. I do a politics, current events panel stream called the Rogue Squadron. It's a Rogue Entertainment branded show. Please do come and check that out. And also on Thursdays, don't forget, if you enjoy Battlestar Galactica, which we've been getting a number of new viewers lately that really do enjoy that particular show, come on by on a Thursday and check out the Pegasus Actual podcast. It's in my opinion, and yeah, I'm biased, but it's the best Battlestar Galactica podcast that you can check out. We're always very informative. The episode discussions are great, and who doesn't love Brightest Day and Arwen Avalon? They're great people. So check that out on Thursdays, and then I tend to do an occasional High Heresy stream on the weekends. I think this will be my quota, though. I got it was a pleasant surprise to go live with Wes this evening, but sometimes I do my High Heresy streams, and also on Sundays I'm on Enter the Unfamiliar with Final Death Star, of course, and
I need to get in on that.
the biggest thing that I want you guys to do is, as I said before, let's get together and promote the heck out of this thing coming up Wednesday. As I said, I will be on Caravan to Midnight with John B. Wells, so don't miss that. That will be at 9:30 p.m. to 11 p.m. Central Time. So do not miss that. It's going to be a fun interview, and I'm going to be as informative as I always am, and you guys will enjoy. So let's get together. Let's get out in front of that, promote that appearance as much as we can, because just as Alex Jones being on Friday Night Tights was a game changer for our fellowship, our community, I think me being on with John B. Wells is going to be, maybe in a lesser sense, also a game changer. So let's promote that as much as we can together. So I appreciate you, and thank you folks so much. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. I will talk to you soon.
Awesome, man. Thanks for being here. So this has been amazing. I think we were well overdue for Drew and I to do a conspiracy together, and this was great. And of course, it wouldn't be possible without our good friends in the chat. You are the best chat on YouTube. We love you. And with that, I guess we'll do the new conspiracy outro. If you like what you've seen here, I'd be honored if you'd consider liking the video, sharing the video, and subscribing to the channel. Good night. One last thing.
What must be what?
Had to do it.